Guys, just so you're aware.
Good morning!
Ray is here! Oh, man.
I love the open space.
I know. Guys, so we look a little bit more professional this week. I personally do not, because I'm wearing my Brady jersey backwards, but I want you to remember the name in case you forgot it from last night. But Miles and Rhea have graciously invited us into their home because they are visual professionals, which me and Michaela are not. So we got some professionalism this week.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, I mean, you could ask these guys because they know all the things.
Yeah. So we are. Yeah, we're in a different setting right now. It's kind of weird. Like I feel really far away from the.
I think the camera is going the wrong way.
Yeah, how do I flip it?
Just double tap.
Double tap.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh, there we are.
Magic man.
Hiding behind the microphone.
So I'm confused. So since this isn't our home, do we still tell him welcome?
Welcome to our home.
Oh, of course, lovely home. Thank you so much for having me.
We just got this.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's our new space.
Yeah, welcome. No, truly.
No, this is so exciting. We're so excited to be here with you, Miles.
Can I do the intro?
Oh yeah. How do we prepare this, guys?
All right, since we got 3 cameras and 3 phones and a camera behind, I'm gonna do this. Miles Woodworth of Seacoast Flash, Wild Hearts.
Oh, I don't know why I clapped. I ruined it.
Ah, you're good.
No, that's awesome. Oh my
That's
God.
great.
This is so great.
Yeah, I wish you guys could see what we have going on right now.
So
It is a treat.
this is really special, I think, because you said it and totally inspired me to say this, is that you're always on the other end of this thing.
I am. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I am.
Are
Yeah,
you
I always get
sweating?
nervous. They're always clamming. So
Oh, they are.
I'm always nervous.
You guys have that in common. Mine drives me.
Actually, mine are pretty good today.
No, mine are just.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Told you.
Keep that to
No,
yourself.
I'm used to it. I tried to tried to give her a high five at one time.
You go like this?
I was like,
You're like,
no.
nah.
I'm all set.
Well, you ready?
Yeah.
To tell the people about your life?
Yeah. All right. Let's do this.
Well, before we get started, let's.
I had a fun topic that I wanted to talk about. So last night, well, there's 2 topics. Patriots won last night. They're going to the Super Bowl. I just want to say it. Tom Brady, 9th Super Bowl appearance. Guys of God. Let's just get that out of the way.
All right.
Next, so last night was a super full blood moon, and it was in Leo, and it talked about having, obviously with full moons we're releasing energies, but it also is talking about this aspect of, since it's in Leo, marching forward with these elements of confidence, loyalty, and determination. And there was a question that was posed on an Instagram post last night, and it was like, what would your life look like if you started showing up with those qualities? Like, what if there was nothing left to heal or fix, and all you had to do is just start showing up with those qualities? So I kind of want to start by asking both of you, like, what would your life look like, Miles, if you started showing up with those qualities? And maybe you already are, and
I don't know. It would be so different because I always kind of wake up like how to better myself or what to do now or work. So I honestly have no idea. It would change like drastically if I was just like, just need to show up.
Yeah.
Try to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just for myself, but just for other people too, I guess.
Okay.
We really threw you a tough question to start there.
That's all right.
That's
all right.
I feel.
You handled it well, though.
I feel unprepared for that one also.
Do you want to answer?
If we show up with
Confidence, like loyalty and determination, like those attributes. Do you want me to answer?
I feel like I do that.
Well, okay,
Oh.
maybe not.
Sean, how do you think I would show up?
No,
in the world if I was
that was
confident,
direct.
loyal, or determined?
That was directed. I mean, no, I think you could show up with a lot of those qualities. That's why you have 27 businesses that you're not afraid to start, because you show up with those. I know for myself, I actually had time to think about this.
I just feel like I have different qualities that I could improve, like spend more time improving on. I'm not saying I'm like the perfectly loyal, like confident, determined person, but
you feel like you show up pretty well in those areas, and life wouldn't look any different. Like,
no, life would look different.
How? Like, how would you
I
want
mean,
it to be?
this isn't the Interview Michaela podcast.
No,
but
I'm scared.
Yeah,
I mean, I think if we all had more confidence, like our fears would in a way just like dissolve. And I feel like those things that feel out of reach they wouldn't get out of reach anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I thought about this. I mean, like, for me, it'd be like, I would be speaking on a stage in front of 10,000 people. Like I would just go do that today because I'm confident.
But that's not necessarily because you're confident. Like that requires patience and hard work.
Well, understandable,
and, like,
but like,
connection
but I don't need to fix anything. The post said I can do what I want, so that's what I want to do.
Okay.
I don't think life would be that interesting.
It wouldn't be. No, of course not. If you don't, if you just went straight to the top of the mountain, like got heli dropped in, like
Yeah.
it'd be boring.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually be pretty cool, but
No,
it wouldn't be as
yeah,
like
absolutely.
you wouldn't feel as victorious. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry. I wanted to start with some banter, so like let's get it back on track here. Do you want to introduce the people and tell them who we are?
Yeah. Introduce ourselves.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I am Michaela. Michaela Jean Photography is one of my businesses. I do a lot of work with intimate, adventurous couples, as well as women, and my favorite part of my work is women's empowerment and kind of encouraging women to step into their own beauty, their own vision, their own light. And I'm going through a lot of rebranding right now, so that is the direction that my business is going in, and I'm very excited about that. I'm also opening a photography studio next month, which is going to be a collaborative, creative workspace where other photographers can come and shoot and use the space. Super excited about that.
That's cool.
Also a space for myself and my business partner Katie to host workshops, as well as for other, whether you're photographers, creatives, whoever you are, if you need a space to host a workshop, that will be your space. So we have that coming up, and I am the co-host of said podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, for Miles Human Beings, my name is Sean Adam. I'm with, I have two businesses, Up and Adam Inspirational Speaking, and I'm also the co-founder of the Wild Hearts podcast, not the Said podcast. I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why I said that.
Up and Adam, bro.
I like that.
Yeah, Up and Adam Inspirational Speaking. I play on my last name, but everyone calls me Adam instead of Sean, so.
I used to get it mixed up.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
Yeah, that's
And I thought it was Sean Adams.
No,
It was Sean Adams.
Sean Adam.
Yeah.
Sean Paul Adam. 3 first names.
Nah.
Yeah. Spa. I literally have the same Yeti pouch that Rhea has, the white one, except for it says Spa.
Yes.
Oh.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
But yes.
Cool. Side note.
So, side note, but really, this podcast, my business, is all about kind of my journey with, just mental illness and working through some of those challenges. I know at a time, I was actually talking to these guys before we came in here. I mean, I couldn't sit in a room for 5 minutes by myself. Like, it was terrifying to be in my own head, and to really kind of ascend through kind of a lot of work and getting beyond that and finding tools and balance in my life has been a really special process, and it's really something I want to share with people because there's 50 million adults in 2018 that went through that. So that's kind of what my work is aimed around, is just getting that work out there and really helping people just chase their dreams despite challenges that we all face, because we all face them. So
Tell the people who you are.
Hello. My name is Miles Woodworth of Seacoast Splash. I am a personal and business brand videographer, and I love working with business owners to create videos to show what their business is capable of.
Yeah. Love that.
That's what I'm saying. Well, guys, and this is why we have such a good setup.
Yeah, well, they can't see the setup, but the
I wish they could. Yeah, we should take a
I wish we could reverse the cameras and you could see what
we
we're
could
doing.
do that. Should we do that?
Or have Rhea go to Rhea's Instagram.
Yeah, Rhea's gonna show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm kidding.
And then Rhea
That just
will.
feels like a lot of effort and a lot of moving things.
Just because we have all of our gifts.
I know,
This
that's
looks
right,
so good.
We didn't have a phone.
Oh man. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's tell the people about you, Miles. So I think as we were talking earlier, you talked about an opportunity your father gave you, with college, right? So maybe talk about that, and then we can kind of. Oh, actually, excuse me. Let's start with where did this love start for videography? I think for you it started pretty early.
Yeah. I was in 8th grade. There was a new kid that came into town, and his name was Dan, and he had a video camera, and his brother was working on a narrative fight scene video, and we snuck into his room where he was editing, the older brother, and I saw him editing a video that he had worked on, and I was just like, whoa, you're telling me you can shoot something and edit it on a computer? This is an 8th grade. I'm 30. So, you know what I mean? Like back then when I could
Years ago.
see that, I'm a
Yeah.
very visual person too. I was just like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I remember like on old like VHSs too, after the credits, sometimes it was like behind the scenes. So like I used to like watch behind the scenes of like movies being like produced, and I was like, oh my God, there's a lot more to it. And I kind of already had a hunch that you might set up lights and there's other people on set. So when I get to see it like on these behind the scenes, like everything was just really making sense.
Mhm.
So then like when I got older, I started like buying DVDs and watching like all the special features, and I was just like, oh my God, and like picking up like little notes and stuff like that. But just working with Dan, we had his video camera, and when he was busy, I went down to my basement and I found my parents' old video camera. And like I taped over all like the childhood tapes. Sorry, Mom and Dad, but like I needed, you know what I mean? I need tapes, you know, like 8mm.
Oh my God.
So I used to shoot videos with my friends all the time, and then I found out what editing software for my old huge like Dell, and I got the software for like $50, and I started editing all these videos together. So it was a group of us. There was like 5 of us. We called ourselves Philosophers Inc. So we needed like a name. We needed like a brand. I was branding without even really realizing it.
Yeah.
And we should just go out and just, you know, we didn't have cars or like license, so we just used to walk or bike like anywhere and just film stuff. And it started off as kind of like the fun, like pushing, shoving, like ha ha ha, like montage. And then I was like, let's come up with a story. Let's, you know, someone's running through the woods, someone's following, and I started directing without even knowing I was doing it. And then I started editing these together, and they started to make sense. Then we would show them to our parents, and they thought they were like the greatest things in the world. They were like, oh my God, my kids are like doing something creative and not just being hooligans. Well, we were, but you know, at least we were like artists, so that makes sense. So then that started to kind of blossom, and then so that was 8th grade into like high school, and then I took as many film and TV production classes as I could, which was like 2. Okay. So I looked at my film teacher and I was like, what do I do now? Like, you know, it's getting close to like senior year, like, you know, he's like, well, I think you need to go to like film school or like art school. So I was like, all right. So then I researched all the schools in the area, and there was a lot of the classes, like a lot of the colleges around here, like were just like straight like film, and then you have to take like other classes like math and writing. And I was like, so then my dad was like, all right, let's research art schools. Maybe you need something else to kind of keep it going.
Yeah.
So he was like, I remember the quote he said to me, he's like, all right, so do you want to go to school around here where there's one pizza shop where everyone hangs out, or do you want to go to like the city, like Philadelphia, where you can get into trouble? And I was like, option 2 sounds great. So I did. I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to the University of Arts, and it was awesome. It was life-changing.
Wow. So you had kind of a lot of support from like parental figures being like, we recognize that like you love this and you're good at it, and we're going to support you.
Yeah, and like, you know, when you're young, you know, you obviously look up to older people because, you know, they've done it before. Yeah, I remember just having like heart-to-hearts with my my film teacher in high school, and he just saw so much potential in me because I would always get my assignments done. I would actually not use the editing software at the school. I would go home and edit it, which he said, don't do that, but I still did it anyway. And then he would know too, because I would try to like transfer it onto the computer, and I was using like cuts and fades and stuff that program didn't offer. And he's like, Miles, what are you doing? And I was like, don't punish me. He's like, I'm not, but like, you know what I mean? He just saw so much potential that he was like, okay. Yeah. And then all of my other friends that I used to, you know, they were in my Philosophers Inc., like, you know, film crew way back when they were in film class and TV production classes, I would edit their projects for them. So my teacher would watch their films that they would show, you know, this is in high school, and my teacher like, you know, Joe, come over here. It's like, I know Miles edited your film. And he was like, yeah. But like no one got Joe because it's like high school back in the day. So my teacher was just like, okay, I just see this. He's even taking on other people's projects to edit them. Yeah. So you know, that's just who I am.
Yeah. So you didn't really think like, so there wasn't really ever like a thought like, oh, maybe I have to do something else, like go a different path, like to college for like just throwing these random things, like doctor, lawyer, you know, like the typical like career paths. Because I know like for me, like I always loved photography and writing, but I never understood or like saw like registered how that could ever be like a career, like I could make money doing that. So I mean, I went to school for nutrition because I got talked into at like 17, 18 years old, like I can't really take my creative passion and turn it into a career. So there must be like some other way.
Yeah, I mean, like in high school, like I honestly do not know what like literally like inspired me. I think it was maybe that day I saw his brother editing, but like everything just like made sense. And then in school too, with like writing and math and history, like it just took me a lot longer to learn all that stuff. And I couldn't pick up on it, but like if you throw a camera and like editing software and like, hey, we're gonna go around the room and everyone's gonna pitch an idea for a video, and then you're gonna get a crew and you're gonna make that video. I would always like win that. People would want to be on my crew because I could just pitch myself and be like, I have a cool idea that I just literally pulled out of thin air, and then people would be like, I want to join this guy. Yeah. And without even really knowing that, I mean, because all your subconscious, that's what you're good at. That's just what makes you happy. And like to be able to take that home too, like, and just be able to just call up all my friends on like a house phone, because no cell phone.
Yeah,
so you remembered everybody. Everything that was important. You remember, 603. And the mom would always pick up like, where's Joe or Mike, and then they'd be like, oh, he said he was meeting you at the railroad tracks. Boom. Heading to the railroad tracks. I'll bring I was the only one with the camera. Okay. So like everyone like wanted to hang out with me. Yeah. No, but that was just like a plus. But I don't know. I really had the passion for just like always shooting. Like it just literally just like made me happy. So when it came to finding schools and like art school, I knew I really wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. And to hear my film teacher, Derek Roberts, say like you need to go to like an art school or a film school, it kind of was like, okay, yeah, I'm listening to an adult and being like, okay, that's what I should do.
Well, I think what's really cool about that story is like, even for us or teachers and really anyone, like the power we have, right, to influence other people. And it's really cool to hear an instance of like a positive where this guy's like seeing you kind of like doing like editing other people's things or not using the right software, but he's just like, this kid's got a talent. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not, like that stuff's menial. It doesn't really matter. Like I'm gonna just help elevate him and like give him an opportunity to see that this can be something. Even as I'm sure people are watching right now, you're a storyteller. Mm-hmm. You're listening. Someone handed my pillow. I'm like, tell me more. Like, tell me the things. So it's like you capture people's attention, like not only with your mannerisms, but I think you can just see how that like plays out in your work. And I think even knowing you, every time we talk, you're like, it's like, oh, dude, you're just like cool. Like, no, let's like, shoot scene, or like you're always doing something, like doing these cool shoots, and it's just really. It's really cool to watch someone just follow their passion. Like for you, I mean, I'm sure money is important as it is to everyone, so you can like eat and stuff. But if I were to actually, let me ask you that, like, where does that even rate on your scale? I feel like it's just like watching a little kid follow their heart in the best of ways.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's because just to spin off your question, if someone's like, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? I'd still do what I'm doing now, but right now we just travel a lot more. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'll always keep making videos and short films. I want to work on more short films. I've only done like 2, but I want to do like every summer. Mm-hmm. Just because summer's so nice to shoot. It's warm. Yeah. Make a narrative, make an actual short film. Because I want to build like this little spin-off video. I'm just kind of rambling right now. No, I like it. I want to make this little Miles Woodworth universe where all of my short films, there's like little Easter eggs that are hidden in them. So you watch them and they all kind of like intertwine. So they're all like in the same little universe under the umbrella. So I already have 2 and I already started kind of hiding stuff. And I make like fake trailers all the time. You'll see like the same props and people in them, and they're all going to connect.
That's cool. Wow. That takes like a really expanded like mind.
It's fun. It's fun to just think, and I like to just use whatever I can. Like whatever I can find in my basement, my friend's basement, something like that, something on the side of the road. Like, oh, that's cool. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that also just touched. Well, first of all, welcome to the intricate mind of Miles Woodworth. I love that.
That's the word I was looking for. Expanded, intricate.
But I think that's also an important factor too, is just using what you have available to you in this moment, right? Instead of being like, oh, I don't have the correct prop I want, or like that costs too much money. You're just like, you're set on the railroad tracks, or you're jumping into people's basements and like dumpsters, whatever you need, like to make something happen. I think that really taps into that creative process, and I think it's so important for people to understand that just start where you're at, like, and you can make anything out of anything. I think we've just grown up in this world that says you need X, right? Like you need this cool shoe to be someone, or to be an artist, or to do this. And Miles Woodworth is here to tell you that what the French does.
Well, it's always funny, like when I meet up with a friend and they're like, "Oh, you want to go out and like vlog, or like you want to like grab some content or something for this week?" I'm like, "Yeah," or like work on a short film. I always like come to the party with like an idea. So like I'll like meet them somewhere and have like a bag and like dump it, and they'll be like, like fake knives and like string, and I'm like, all right, I got this cool idea for like this like movie trailer. Let's do this. But you know anyone in the area that can do like flips and like a fight scene, and then like call them all up, and all of a sudden we're out in the middle of the woods, losing daylight, and we're shooting like a fake trailer. And it's just like, oh my god, and like where'd you get all this stuff? And like who had fake blood? You know what I mean? Just lying around.
So awesome.
And it's just like, and some people that just like join the party, like that don't even quite know me, are just like, who this is weird. I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? And they're just, and then I run over, I'm like, can you just put blood on my face? And they're like, okay, who are you? And it's just like, I don't know, I just get a kick out of it. And I don't know, I always have ideas racing through my head, because I never get bored.
Yeah.
I literally, if you see me sitting on the couch, just like I'm thinking of a bunch of different things that I could go out and be like, okay, if we have a snowstorm, I do this really cool video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how can we just get some shots, something? And I'm just thinking, like, I'm not just like sitting there being like, oh my god, nobody likes me on my phone. I'm just like, I don't, because my brain is always racing, or I'll just grab my gear and I'll go somewhere and do some time lapses.
Okay.
And when my camera's running, I'm thinking. People can tell when something's going on when they're just like, you haven't said one word in like a minute.
Yeah.
You okay? And I'm just, I'm just thinking about something.
Well, I love that you like your work and your passion are the same thing, but like you separate them also. Like I remember that project that you did, I think last year, where you interviewed people. Remember I met you at Book and Bar?
Yep. Yeah.
Just like cool little like projects that you're doing like that. It's like, I think you and Raya have that in common, where like she has her people of course, and you, like, it's not necessarily like bringing you income, but it's like fueling this like passion for what you love to do.
But and you'd be surprised too, because you just said like it doesn't quite bring you income, but like not directly. Yeah. Because like for my short film I did 2 years ago, Population Alone, I did like some cool like trailers, and an author like hit me up on like Instagram, and I had a phone call with him. He's like, I saw the trailer you did for this movie. He's like, I want to make like a book trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like something that I just did for like absolutely no budget, just being like, what do I have in the basement? A new quote, what do I have in the basement? That's kind of like that, yes. And even that project, because it was it's called what's it called? Design Your Life. I don't know, I have a bunch of on YouTube. I work with so many amazing business owners that I was just like, I want to do like a cool portrait piece. So I had a slider, and like I moved the camera in on them, and they were in their element doing something. So I hit everybody up, and I was just like, hey, can I swing by? And I wanted to shoot them in their shop or anywhere of what they're doing. And then I threw all those together with some beautiful music that a friend of mine made, and it came to life. It was like you see so many business owners like in the Portsmouth area, and it's just like them in their element. And I think I was inspired by like one thing I saw like in a movie. I saw like a couple shots of like someone kind of it was just like an interview style, and I was like, I want to do that but here. And then I went and did it. And then people see that, and then sometimes when clients are on my YouTube channel and they're like referencing some of my work, they'll send me links of videos that I've done, and they'll be like, I want this incorporated in my branding video. So it does pay off in the end, which is really cool, and really just kind of, it's a beautiful thing. It's very organic.
I think people miss that little piece sometimes. They're like, oh, I could go spend 5 hours like putting this creative project together, but like I'm not getting anything out of it. You know what I mean? But it's like you are.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Because we're like so like instant gratification driven.
As millennials, like that's the age we grew up in. It's like I want it now, and
But you're kind of like, I want the product now. Like, you know,
Exactly.
You're like, let's just go do it. So it's like still that kind of like instant gratification, but in like a different.
Well, it's
like
just a shift, right? It's like a shift in mindset.
Right.
It's just like
it is. If you do what you want to do for yourself, then the money and everything will come.
Absolutely.
But if you think about it, be like, okay, I'm going to do this video of all the shots of business owners in Portsmouth, and they're all going to hit me up and want branding videos for X amount, and I'm going to be a millionaire. No, you're like sabotaging yourself too, and then you could say the wrong thing on set, being like, yeah, I can do a video for you for, and then if you're just pitching yourself, because I never pitch what I do unless someone's like, hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm interested in what you do, and then there's a conversation. I'm not gonna be like, hey, you need a video now, or you're gonna go under. It's just nobody likes that, and they're like, whoa, are you desperate?
So I want to really talk about this because this is very interesting point. It's actually something I've been thinking about a lot. So I come from like a sales background where literally every day, 70 times a day, it's pitching people. And to step into this creative world where it's more of like, I'm noticing it's actually a super turnoff when someone does that.
It's uncomfortable.
And so even for myself, like as I'm trying to grow my business, it's just kind of like, I want it to be organic. Like there's kind of this element of like, I'm not in a rush to be like on that stage with 10,000 people. Like, yes, it's where I want to go. But as we talked about, I don't want to just get heli dropped into like the top of Everest. You know, I want to go through the things, and I feel like it's not about ramming it down people's throat. It's just like, do you live your life, like do a podcast, like speak and have people ask you about it. And that's how it's going to grow. Because I think and maybe you can touch on this, it's like word of mouth, at least in the creative world, seems to be where things spread and where like you get recognition and where business comes from. Can you touch on that? Like, is there any validity to what I'm saying there?
Yeah, word of mouth is like the best. It's like probably like 90% of where I get my business. And then just like social media too. If you're just yourself and showing your passion and always posting, you're kind of like keeping your followers, having them understand that this is what you do. So they just constantly know. So when they're looking, they're like, for their company, they're like, hey, what if we had a workshop in, oh yeah, Sean, this Sean guy I follow online, he can do a talk. Yeah. Or like, I'm thinking we need photos, or what about Ray or Michaela? Why don't you give that, I follow that. I need a video, what about Miles? Yeah. Because they always see us doing our craft, that we're subconsciously planting a seed, but it's what we do. So it's not salesy or pitchy. It's just like, these people are super passionate. They're successful in what they do. I want to work with them as well too, and I understand the value that I can get from them.
Well, and I think the other thing too is people really pick up on that, like if you're passionate about what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not even like we're talking about subconscious here. I feel like it's always on an energetic thing. Like I feel like, you know, I'm 32, so I've been through life with a little bit of experience. It's like you can tell within like seconds how someone feels about what they're talking about. And even you told me at one point, when I was doing the financing thing, and I gave my talk at Coastal, and then like I did the other one, and like you barely knew me, and you reached out and were like, hey, there was just like a completely different energetic tone to that. I'm like, people pick up on that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, even like, I think it's like advice for other people. It's like, even like listen to yourself, talk about what you're doing. You know, are you lying to yourself, or are you really passionate about it? You know? And I think I just think it's so cool. Watching you do your thing, like, you know, because I know it took me a long time to find where I'm at. It took me 30 years to find something like, okay, this is it, whether I'm getting money or not, this is it. So for you to find that, I mean, can you talk about, so I'm gonna bring Grady back into the conversation here.
Can you leave your shirt still on back, please?
It's a thing.
It's kind of giving me anxiety. A little OCD.
Like, we're gonna do like a
like, my neck is like.
Wait, I don't even get it. You guys told me you liked it, now it's giving people anxiety. Like, this is what I do with when I'm doing videos.
Comment below.
Also, like,
now I'm sweating. I'm sweating. It's because I'm
like,
sweating. I had like an espresso shot, my coffee.
I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it.
Anyway, back to
wait, so are you gonna reverse it?
No.
Okay.
No, just to know you guys. I want to keep the anxiety going. No, so Tom Brady talks about when he plays football, it's when he feels like he can most be himself. And outside of that realm, I don't know if he said struggles, but it's harder for him to just truly be that like representation of himself. Do you find that to be the case for you, or is it just like a like, I mean, I guess kind of talk about that. Like, what I'm trying to ask here is the separation between when you're in your work element and maybe when you're just like in a personal, like out and about, maybe like on date night with Rhea or something. Like, is there a difference of who you are? Do you feel different?
Well, I do feel most comfortable with a camera in my hand or behind the camera.
Okay.
Just because I'm always looking around to see if I can shoot something. But that's just my brain going over time. But even when we go out to dinner, we'll bring our cameras.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
We do to take like a cool photo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So just like if it's there or like in the car. But no, I do go out without my camera, obviously. But I kind of feel like underdressed sometimes, like when I don't have like my camera. Because if I miss something, you know what I mean? Like if something happens and I can't capture it,
Yeah.
it's almost like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I like just kind of like for my vlogs, I put out monthly vlogs, so it's like everything I did like in that month in like 10 minutes or less. And it's I look back at it, you know what I mean, every once in a while I'll look at an old one and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it gives me joy. Or
Yeah.
people watch it and they go, oh my god, like, that's cool, your life looks so interesting. It's like, yeah, but it's because I'm always going out, or I'm always going somewhere, or we always have an adventure to do, and there is always something out there to be captured. And if no one else is doing it, then I feel like it's my job to capture the world.
Right. Well, it's like you in work mode and you in regular day-to-day mode is like the same Miles, I feel like. I mean, obviously I've never been on date night with you and Rhea, but like every time I feel like
You're welcome to it.
maybe I'll have to show up one time, but like just to prove my point. But I feel like every time I see you, whether you're shooting something or you're just on the street and like happen to run into you guys, like you're the same Miles. Like your energy's the same, like you're the same just kind of person. And I feel like a lot of people, especially I feel like a lot of people, they have like their work persona, and then they have like their friend persona, and like you can see the difference, like when they're in work mode and when they're in like out of work mode. And I think it probably has a lot to do with just like the entrepreneur kind of like mentality. But I think I feel like I can answer Miles or Sean's question kind of, and like that you kind of are just like the same person, whether you are filming something or you're not.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. Because you're so like, your work is so like authentically you. Does that like resonate?
Yeah.
Like you're not really trying to be somebody else behind the camera other than like your own self, or do you disagree?
No, I agree.
I'm telling your story for you.
No, and, you know, that's fine. It's awesome. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like when people do see me in you know, quote unquote real life, and they're like, you're always everywhere, or you guys are always doing something, or even when we see them at an event or we bump into them and we are shooting something, they're like, oh, you guys are everywhere. Like, I love following you guys. I'm speaking of Ray and myself, and it's cool to give that it's not even an illusion, because we are like everywhere and we do capture a lot of stuff and we love to share. It's not about like bragging, it's about sharing and showing all these people that you kind of can be everywhere if you decide to go out and have fun or shoot and be passionate, or if it's, you know, if it's a paid gig or something like that. And we go to a lot of events and it pays off. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, but I don't know. It's maybe that's why I don't get bored, because I'm always ready to go. I always have my shoes on every single day until like all of a sudden it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Ray goes, can you take off your shoes? Where are you going right now? I go, I don't know. Like, someone could call me. If someone called old Miles, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like 2 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, it's midnight. Yeah, let's go bowling. What alley is open at midnight? But like, I'm down to go. But I'm always ready. I don't know.
Do you sleep well?
Do I? Not really. No, I wake up at least 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night.
All right.
I tracked down a nap once and I was like waking up 35 times. So.
Oh my, my stomach's growling. Sorry.
Hi, Michaela, stomach. How are you? I'm fairly hungry.
Well, do you, if you have something in the morning, if you have something that you're nervous about in the morning?
No, that was just
Every time I look over, your hair's different.
And you switch
Like,
shirts.
Oh my god!
You can't even handle it. Yeah,
Jesus.
I'm that good.
My camera's so real.
No, for me it was just back related stuff and probably a lot of anxiety at the time. But I've done a lot of work around sleep just because it's one of those really important factors, right? And like it's your body's opportunity to heal. It's your opportunity for your mind to like, well, I guess I never really rest, but rest, I guess. And yeah, I really struggled with it for a while because I had like a jacked up back and had to like work through that. But I have found ways to balance that. Meditation being a big one of those. I find that when I do that before sleep, it helps.
Oh, meditation, yeah, for sure.
But I wanted to go back to kind of that rambling there because I think what's important about that is you guys are everywhere. But what I want to talk about is it's like you're intentionally creating that. I feel like you have taken old Miles and what you just said in this, like, I'm ready to go all the time. And you have consciously created that into your adult life now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you guys are everywhere, but that's on purpose. And you even said yourself, like, I want to travel more. So it's not by accident that that's happening, you know what I mean? So I think what's cool about what you guys do is, like, the intentional creation of, like, being everywhere. And, like, that's what fuels, well, at least it sounds like you. I mean, it seems like gratitude, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. But it seems like that's what fuels you guys. You know what I mean?
It does, and we love seeing people too, and it's also it's like free networking.
Yeah.
When you go to these events, or you're at a shoot, you're walking around, or you're just filming something on the street, or taking branding photos of Rhea, and people are gonna bump into someone, and someone's gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And then you're triggering because they're seeing you doing your action, and it's just so organic because someone's seeing it and going, "Oh my god, yes," or "I need that," or "I love that. I can't wait to see these photos that you're taking right now." And it's like people are looking forward to that. And I mean, she does a lot of speaking obligations. So like when she's talking on stage, I'll be shooting some video just for myself, and then shooting photos that she can share. And we see there's so many people in the crowd that are there that are inspiring, you know, this or that. And when they see you pursuing your passion, especially when your partner is on stage too, it's just, it's more organic, you know? Yeah. It's just like, wow, it's fun.
I like watching your smile show up when you talk about that. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I was. That's awesome. So let's get like back, we just talked about a lot of things, but like, let's kind of steer back to the story. So you chose the option of getting into trouble. So why don't we talk about that? Did you get in trouble?
In
college, when his father gave him the quote, you can go to a school where it's the same pizza shop that everyone sits at, or you can go get into trouble. And Miles chose option 2 of getting into trouble.
Yeah, so I went to, which, I mean, if you went to a school around here, I mean, don't.
Yeah, no. Those are everyone got in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a campus. Like, Philadelphia was my campus, which was, like, that's why I like watching movies when I see, like, a college with a beautiful campus, and I kind of like, my heart feels weird. It's like, I never had that. We were smack dab in the center city of Philadelphia, and we had buildings scattered around, and that's how we would, you know, get to class. And it was so fun. It was so different. I keep in touch with a bunch of my friends from school, and it's funny the stuff that they tell me because I can't remember just a lot. I guess I don't have a good memory sometimes. Yeah. And they're just like, yeah, and it was the same exact story from like high school too. Like when we had a graduation dinner in Philadelphia, a bunch of my friends were going up to my parents and being like, if it wasn't for Miles, I don't think I would have graduated. And I would, once again, like, if they needed some sort of project, I would shoot it and I would edit it for them.
Really?
It's terrible, though, because, like, that's, you know, whatever that is. And then they would pass it in. Not for film, for my film major friends. It was for, like, my, like, you know, industrial design or, like, other creatives. And they needed to show their work. I would, you know, help them out that way. But, also, too, when we would just want to kind of go out and have fun and explore, too, I would, you know, come home from class, I would get my work all done, so then I could go out and get into trouble. instead of like going out and kind of head's not in the right place. You know what I mean? And then trying to do my work. It's not gonna happen. And I was like that too in like high school. I would get home, I would do my homework, and then I would go out.
What does getting into trouble mean?
Just like adventures, going into places you're not supposed to.
I go lost. Like film, like are you filming stuff or are you just like being a hooligan?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I probably had one of those big video cameras because I wasn't using like a DSLR now. Yeah, we would just walk around, meet up with people. We would just like do all these like crazy things and like, literally get into trouble, which I don't know if I should have.
So your
on camera, but
father encouraged the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he said it as like
you'll get more life experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also like I am from New Hampshire. I was born and raised here. I mean, you know how it is, like just like living
Spice it up
here.
a little.
There's like, I mean, you could like walk to your friend's house and stuff like that, or you would always have to drive. You know, this is just like the beach. It's all the same over. You know what I mean? But like this was like a totally different like location, landscape.
Gotcha.
Totally like, what can I get away with here?
Create some vibrancy in your
Or
life.
just and just you're hanging out with other people that are from different places too, so they're doing something else too that you're like, oh, that's different. That's different.
No.
You okay? You want
No,
a Laura bar?
Oh,
You have snacks. Whose house is this?
yeah. No.
Feed me.
Oh my god. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna kind of talk about, so like when I was gonna ask you about like going to Philadelphia, like were you ready for that, like to get out of like New Hampshire, or was that like a big leap for you, or like what was that like?
I was very innocent.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It was just like I said, I'm from New Hampshire, so when I went there, it was just like, it was literally like too much to handle. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so different. And when I do my old high school, Winnicott High School, they email me every once in a while and say, would you like to talk to the kids about college and, you know, career fairs and stuff like that? And I'll go in, set up a table, and I'll talk to them. And I'll be transparent with them too and say, like, going to school in a city where you're not familiar with, it's fun, it's different. I think everybody kind of needs that experience, and that's like, it's definitely something that totally like changed my way of like looking at life.
How so?
How so?
Yeah.
Just by the different people, just by being on my own and exploring, and even going around, just literally like wandering with friends in the city, and you literally, you can bump into trouble like I don't know, we're in a bad part or something that, and almost get like mugged from a guy with like a knife, and it's like, whoa, and when you're in there, you get that adrenaline, you're like, this is scary, and then you leave, and then you're like, whoa, that was close. It was close. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, then you have those stories, or now, if you're coming up with an idea for a video, and you're like, okay, what if someone was getting like jumped? Be like, oh, well, I can kind of relate to something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and just seeing, I look at people too, and everyone's kind of a character. You know what I mean? So I see people differently. I had a class called Observing Humans. So we would have to pick a spot in the city and just watch humans for about an hour, and then just write in a journal. And then I really liked that class. And then there was another class. This might sound so strange. It was called Observing Children. Okay? Listen, I know it sounds strange. I was literally the only guy in the class. A lot of them were females, which I don't think is right. And the name of the class is kind of very...
Yeah, they could come up with a new name.
Yeah.
I don't think that's...
So I'm not like weird or anything, but like the class was very interesting. It was the same exact thing. So as weird and sketchy as this sounds, you had to pick a spot in the city and observe children.
Oh my god.
Okay?
That's hysterical.
So, and I'm thinking too, I'm like, children actors, you know what I mean? I want to see how, so as sketchy as this sounds, I was like by a bus stop, and I would see them react getting off the bus. And it was interesting, like pushing, shoving, getting hurt, like who did it? And the teachers are wondering who did it, and I'm just like, I know. Exactly, right there. I swear to God, sorry, I even have in the journal. So it's just classes like that too. you know, in art school too, there was so many different types of classes too. When I heard like those titles of some of the classes I could take, I was like, that is very interesting. How can I relate that to film production? That's what I would do for all the classes that I would take.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's really cool. Is there like a person or a moment in your life that just like super inspired you?
That time I met M. Night Shyamalan?
No.
I did in a bowling alley.
Okay, who?
Okay, so
I'm sorry, what?
can you name some movies?
I don't know famous
Sixth
people.
Sense?
Oh, this is an actor?
No, the
Director.
director, M. Night Shyamalan.
I'm so sorry. This is not my
Michaela's
specialty.
You ever
not
seen the
gonna
movie The Sixth
yeah.
Sense?
Yeah.
Split?
The Shining. No, not The Shining. What's the one in the woods? The one in the woods.
The Village?
Yeah, there we go.
The Visit?
Miles is like
I'm not a good movie person.
Signs?
Miles' heart. Is
Well,
like dropping.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Which, anyways, I'm
But-
sure most of the people know about. And
Well, he writes, directs, and produces.
Are those scary movies?
They're like,
Yeah.
you never heard like M. Night Shyamalan twist?
Oh, gosh.
All this movies have
Or,
a
like,
twist.
we just keep trying. We keep
I'm
trying.
gonna go now.
But what brings me back to, I always have my shoes on, right? So I'm home, I'm hanging out with my friend, and all of a sudden I get a call from my friend that works at a bowling alley. He's like,
Oh,
yo,
so that was a real story.
Okay.
yeah. He goes, hey, I don't know what you're doing right now, but I just booked the lane for M. Night Shyamalan. And I just go, I'm already like on my bike. I'm already like, all right, I'm there. So yeah, I go there and I'm just like, oh my god. And then all of a sudden, like, you know what? Right when you're walking, you're like pumped, and right when you're walking, you're like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, what am I gonna
Yeah.
say? You know what I mean? Like the signs.
It's great.
Like you can't sound, and he's like with his daughter. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, looking around too, and I'm just
No,
like,
I-
maybe I just have him
that's not
sign
my-
something.
funny.
I'll just have him like, you know, an autograph or something. And I think he was coming out with The Last Airbender, that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But
I liked it.
so I was the show is so much better. But
I agree.
so I remember I had my friend that was like, hey, give me some, just have him sign something and I'll be out of there. So it took me like literally like a good solid like half hour before I was like, you know what I mean? And then I just went over and I was like, hey, super sorry to bother you, but I was like, I just have like your autograph. I was like, I'm like a film student at UArts, and he's like, yeah, because he's from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, he's from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, all right. And then he wrote like, good luck. And I was like, oh, nice. And I was like, oh, and Unbreakable was it. Because that's one of his movies, and I was like, that was the only thing that came to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, why? I
Yeah.
hope you like that. You know what I mean? But like that wasn't like inspiring or anything, but just that was just a cool story.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be like, yeah, I'm not, you know.
But it sounds like he's someone who maybe has inspired some of your work.
He did like back in the day when he was coming out with his first, you know, chunk of movies, and I just saw Glass the other day, which was pretty good. Twist.
Did he do that?
Check it out. Yeah. It's
Okay.
the third one in the.
I know. I'm only gonna see the.
So. Yeah. Well, when I saw like, you know, an adult figure in the movie business, writing, directing, and producing his own films. Instead of some of these other movies that come out when it's just like written by someone else, produced by someone else, and they just got the rights, so they threw this director in. I love movies where the director is also the writer and the producer. I think it's cool, like Quentin Tarantino or like Darren Aronofsky or even David Fincher. It's like these guys work on their own babies, you know what I mean? And then they bring them to life, which is cool. Because I like to kind of do everything together. You know what I mean? I like to kind of like shoot or like act or like write and then edit all my stuff. I like to be like the main.
All the hats.
Yeah, because
You're like The Rock.
it's yeah.
You like The Rock?
Yeah.
Should we talk about The Rock?
No.
Wait, can I ask a question real
Yeah.
quick? As we're gonna go backwards just a tiny bit, but so let me ask you this: when you met,
Don't help her out.
Oh, sorry. I was like fired.
Yeah.
when you met him
Yeah. Just don't have
at the bowling alley,
Yeah.
you were what, like 19, 18, 19, 20?
It was when I was in college. I was probably
You're like
maybe
not.
like senior, maybe like sophomore year or something.
It was maybe like a decade-ish ago.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to be in that same situation now, do you think you would have had, like, would the situation, like, would you be less nervous? Like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, so this podcast, in a way, is kind of bringing us all on that level, like our own like level of success. And it's like this idea of inspiration for ordinary people by ordinary people. And at the end of the day, we're all just humans, and we've all started at like one place, and we're all working towards our goals. Like, so do you feel like maybe if you were to experience that same moment now, you would be different? Because you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of like a loose cannon, like 50-50 on something. I'd either be like, okay, totally give it space, you know what I mean? He looks over here, whatever, you know what I mean? Or 50%, all of a sudden I just grab my camera, go over to him and be like, hey, can you say you're watching the Miles Files and you're for my vlog? I don't know. It's either like the wicked laid back or just like, yo, go all in.
Yeah.
But you'd have like more confidence maybe, like whichever decision.
Yeah, like you'd feel like you were more able to have that conversation.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Well, I think because I think that's what you're trying to get at here, right?
It's like sometimes not a good question to ask.
No, that was a great question. I know where you're going with this. I think what Michaela's trying to point out is like at that point in time, very clearly, the way you described the story is you put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like you weren't worthy of speaking to his time. You even said your intro was, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah, true.
So I think what's very interesting about, again, you were young. I know you're 19. Like we're all like, who the heck are we in life? But now, whereas you've had confidence, like you made some of these short films, like you're out there doing it every day, like you just know a filmmaker, right? So like I think is there that element of could you just step up and have that conversation like he was your bro, like yo, what's up, man? Like you know what I mean? Because I think even for me, like I look like The Rock. We were talking about, I'm gonna bring The Rock in here. I love The Rock, but I think the whole point of this podcast was like when I look at The Rock, like that looks a little untouchable, a little intangible. The guy's making $64.5 million and he's making like 800 movies, working at 4 a.m. like never stops. That's like a little intangible. But at the end of the day, really, he's just another human on some different level. It doesn't take away from the fact that I have a right to stand next to him and have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's just though, it is kind of like good to have those role models though, you know, to like look up to and be like, that's kind of in a way where I want to be at some point in my life.
Or just at least get something kind of out of them. Like I would never want to like move to like LA and open up a film production and like be a director, because directors like never sleep. They get it's the blank storm on top of them that's just like this movie's either gonna be good or bad. You know what I mean? I would never want that. I'm super happy and content doing what I'm doing here, working with amazing business owners, and being able to shoot and edit, and then in the winter being able to travel and like a travel vlogger and just document our experiences. But everyone always says like, why don't you like move out to like California and like you have your business there? And it's like, why? Because everybody and their grandmother shoots video or photo out there. You know what I mean? It's like it's a dog eat dog world, and it's just like very intimidating. When here, it's like more like collaboration instead of competition. That's what I feel. And like when people, I say that to them too. I feel like an older like parent, they're like, oh, sometimes I didn't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh, so this is good, right? And I'm like, yeah.
So like on that, like talk about our community a little bit, because and like how important this community has been for you, because I think we have like a really special, I think the Seacoast community is really special. In that sense of community over kind of like competition. It
is. I mean, Portsmouth is amazing. It's beautiful. It's not quite big enough. It's not quite small enough. It's perfect. And it's always growing, and they're always doing new things. There's always different events, talks that are going on too that you can go either free or you have to pay for. But it's helping the community grow, which is amazing. But if you were to ask me like this question about 5 years ago, I'd say that I wouldn't work with any photographers or videographers. Everyone was competition. I would isolate myself from them, and I just would not. If some of them like would hit me up saying like, "Hey, let's meet up," I'd just be like, "No, I'm busy." I just wouldn't give anyone the time of day.
So what changed?
I met Nick Marabella from U-Rock Marketing, aka Massbang now, and he introduced me to Rhea. But he's a motivational speaker, and he would tell me, "Miles, it's not about competition; it's about collaboration." And I was like, "Whoa, tell me more." And then he would say all this stuff, and meeting people, and he was introducing me, and we we would do video shoots together because he was doing vision board parties. I was like, what's this vision board party? I don't know, like a little hokey pokey.
Yeah.
And then like I started doing them, and then I started listening to him talk and giving his advice, and then seeing him just work, and I was just like, I like this guy. And then he introduced me to Rhea, and we just started working together, and she opened my eyes up to it too. She was like, it is about collaboration. It's not about competition. And then especially in, you know, in a small but big little city town, we're not quite sure what Portsmouth is, but a little bit of both. It's perfect because now all I do is I collaborate with everybody. And that was a huge eye-opener. And I've actually seen my business grow rapidly and got even, more clients and just more. Now I can call people and ask them for help on video shoots. So it's a game changer.
Oh, for sure. I can honestly say Rhea has opened my eyes up to that as well. So cheers to Rhea.
She's right there.
Well, yeah, she's right. She's right
Right behind the cameras.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, so we've heard Rhea's little version of your guys' love story and how you met. So it's your turn to share.
What'd you tell them? You told them everything, babe? All right, so it might seem like I'm a sleaze bag, which, I mean, you can take whatever, you know.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
Everyone's faces are turning red.
Well, mine's not.
No, not yours. Just Sean's.
No, because I'm totally content with what happened. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, well, timeline's a little, like, sloppy anyway, because I was, like, going through a bunch of stuff. And I was in a relationship with someone. But I was working with Nick, and he was opening my eyes up. It was not really a great relationship. It was a little toxic. And he goes, we need to go to, downtown Portsmouth and give my friend Rhea, what did you used to call you? Ray of light, ray of sunshine, something like that. A vision board kit because she's going to a party. So I was like, all right. So I was like, I'll go with you. So I think we were going to a shoot. I don't know. He knows the story too a little bit better. So the back of his car was pretty much filled with all the vision board magazines, like all that scissors, like he had boxes of scissors. It was kind of creepy. You know, I like this guy. So we meet Rhea downtown. I never met her before. I was like, hey, I'm Miles. And this is kind of like, and I was like, she's a photographer. I do photo too. So I was just kind of like very like combative. Like but I'll meet her, whatever. And then Nick goes, okay, can we give you a ride? And I was like, well, Nick, the car's full. And then poor Rhea's like, no, I can walk. I'm walking down, Badger's Island or something? I don't know. So it's like walking to Maine. So we were like, all right, we'll give you a ride. So he goes, okay, the only seat is on Miles' lap. The front seat.
What?
God, man.
This is the friend.
I love
Really
it.
talking about this?
$1 million.
We're all adults.
$1 million matchmaking.
So yeah, it was the first time we met, and she was like on my lap, and then Nick's throwing Mad Thunder. He's like, yeah, motivation, thunder, vision boards. And that was the first time we met, and then
that's amazing.
And then I'm not quite sure about how the timeline kind of unfolds from there, but I remember like Nick was working with her a lot too, being like, she'll be my photographer and you be my videographer. So then we started working on vision board events with Nick, and we were shooting together. And then I was picking up like what kind of equipment she was using and her style, and it was just back and forth. Still me being very defenseful of just my craft and my life and everything like that. And then we eventually I wanted to just hang out with her like all the time. And she was like, well, I'm trying to like start my own business now, and I'm not looking for anything. I don't know what she sounds like. She's from like Jersey or something. Like, she was like, yeah, like, and I was like, okay. And the next day, like, hit her up, like, hey, let's hang out. She's like, I'm not looking for anything. And I go, okay. And like, next day, I was like, hey, what's up? She's like, all right, this dude, like, just will not leave me alone. She loves me now.
She loves me now.
So basically, that's kind of just what happened. And then we just started just hanging out a lot, and then blossomed into a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, it did.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, no.
And now you guys are basically building businesses together in a way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think now that we have talked about the beauty of your story, I think every story has some challenges. You know, and I think part of our podcast is to kind of show people that there are challenges out there, right? Like we don't just get to the top of the mountain, rainbows and ponies, just straight shot. So I know we had talked about kind of like sobriety, like that's something you both share in now. Do you want to kind of talk about, you know, you don't not a ton of detail, but like that part of your story? Because I know I think you said around 25, like you're having some other stuff in your life. I don't know if that's what you're referencing, but just kind of talk to people about the struggles you've had to go through to get to this point where you're content. You have a beautiful place in Hampton. You're working with your partner. You're creating things with your partner, and you're constantly following your passion. So I'm sure it wasn't always rosy.
Yeah, and you know, everybody always says it too. You don't just wake up and hey, you're there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a messy little timeline of, you know, occurring events, and just trying to figure out how to run a business by myself. Some not so good relationships too, and then also yeah, just drugs and alcohol, just to be honest.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out how to better myself and figure that out. But when you're in, we were talking about this the other day, Ray and I, when you're in the slump, you don't know you're in the slump. Well, at least I didn't. I was very content with being exactly how I was chugging through life. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, it's just like when you're there, you're just like, yeah, this is just life right now.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's fine.
Yeah.
At least I'm alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then, yeah, some, you know, relationships ended, which probably for the best. And then I wanted to try to figure out my life and why I wasn't being the best that I could be. And I'm realizing this without like kind of like sitting and analyzing it. Like, how can I be the best I can be? I'm just like, okay, well, I don't like the way I look in the mirror, so I'm gonna, you know, try to lose weight and eat healthy, whatever that means in my own little way. I'm gonna try to cut out some stuff. I'm gonna try to remove myself from different people that aren't providing value for me. You know, even if they're close friends, sometimes it's just like you gotta do you. You know what I mean? As arrogant as that sounds, it's you know, you gotta take care of this guy in life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was trying to figure out what I needed to do. I just kept finding myself in the worst and awkward situations due to alcohol.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. You're just like, that was whack last night. You know what I mean? So you just try to figure out where it needs to be cut off and what's not working for you. And yeah, I basically, and then when you find yourself kind of like drinking alone too, you're kind of like, it's probably not good. You know what I mean? You're like, so I basically was like, okay, I need to do this. So I cut ties with that, and I was just like, okay, I need to focus on me. I need to focus on my business. So I did, and then there was other stuff that happened, and like it creeps back up on you too. So all of a sudden you're kind of back into it. That's why my timeline's a little funky. But I looked on Instagram the other day, and I saw a post, and it said, this is my 1 year sobriety, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, so 2.5 years now, give or take, but the timeline's fuzzy, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Thank you. And it's just like, you know, you kind of do have to hit like rock bottom or like that dark muck. You know, like when you're swimming in the ocean, in the lake, and like nobody likes dark water.
Yeah.
You know, when your foot touches the ground and it's like a weed or like
that's sharp.
Or like a muck. Yeah, it's everything. And something's always gonna pull your leg. I don't know. I don't like it. Yeah. So like you kind of have to be there like all the time and be like just like treading, be like everything's just very sketchy. So yeah, I was like, okay, I need to figure out me. I need to control something that I can control.
So I started to, and then so it was a little sloppy back and forth for a little bit, and then after especially meeting Nick and Rhea, it really kind of came to like that's like when I stopped eating like fast food.
Yeah.
Because I used to like go to like McDonald's and like bring it home and just like wolf it down.
Yeah.
Because it's so good, they put something in it, so you want to eat it quickly, and I can't breathe. But I literally said it to her. She's like, "Oh my god, you eat fast food so fast that you like couldn't breathe." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's something's wrong with that."
It's all right.
Yeah, something's wrong with that. So then it was trying to put boundaries for yourself too. Like, okay, cut out that, cut out that, cut out that. It takes baby steps. You can't just wake up and be like, "Okay, today." Especially in the new year, I think that's why everyone gets so confused. They're like, "Okay, it's the new year, 2019, so I'm gonna just stop doing all this." Yeah, you're gonna just bug out on your couch for like 3 days.
Yeah.
You need to, baby steps are fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, and Ray and I have this conversation too all the time. It's like, I can't believe how much more work and other things I can accomplish in my life without that cloud.
It's incredible.
It's insane.
That's amazing.
And the best days are when it's like a Friday night at like 7 o'clock and we're like here just hanging out, like making dinner. And also we just look and be like, "Oh, it's Friday."
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't have to go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the best nights are when we're just hanging out, just, talking shop, like how we can kind of better ourselves or where we want to travel or what we got for projects, what's working, what's not. Those are the best nights. You know what I mean? And because way back when all of a sudden it was like I'm trying to figure out how to stop doing that stuff, and all of a sudden be like Friday, I'm like, "Oh my god, who's gonna hit me up to want to go out?" And I have to say like, no, or make up an excuse, or budget. I'm going. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out how you get.
That's amazing. I think that it's a great time to be vulnerable. I'm actually 21 days, no alcohol, no drugs, anything myself. So, for perfect interjection here, and I think for me, as I've been kind of like, I want to say diagnosing, but looking at this and like what it's doing in my life, I've realized that a lot of why I reached for, whether it was the bottle, the drugs, whatever it is, it was for connection.
Mm-hmm.
It had been so much about the last 10 years, my connection point with people. And the fear of being able to stop and the struggle with being able to stop was based on, well, if I stop, it's the unknown. Can I still make a connection with someone?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found personally that, yes, I can. And you can find like the deeper ones, that get more meaningful ones that I've always wanted. You know what I mean? And I just think that that's been a very cool understanding for myself. Do you find like that was kind of, does that resonate for you when I say that? Is that like a similar story for you, or?
Yeah, I would just find myself just like using like alcohol to cope. Yeah. All of a sudden I'm just like, "Oh, I gotta spend time with this person. I'm gonna go do this. I don't really remember what's going on." You know what I mean? Like, and you don't, like I said, you do not realize it when you are in it.
Was it a person or was it an event? Like, without even getting, you don't have to get specific, but was it like a person that pointed out to you?
It was
like
anything. Oh, what?
So like like something needs to change. Like you talk about that dark water, or were you just like treading in it, and then you finally like looked in the mirror and was like, "Hey, it's me versus me here."
Yeah, there was one. It's
no, let's go. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah. I told you about this the other day.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah, like I can laugh about it now.
Yeah, of course.
But like, when it's happening, you're like, this is, it's surreal, and all of a sudden you're just like, wait.
Yeah.
So and there was multiple scenarios.
Yes, of course.
But then there's definitely a kicker that just like, okay, well, I gotta change some stuff up around, try to figure out what's going on. So yeah, I mean, but I just having a clear head too, being able to like, if you're working late too, I'd be like, getting work done and just being able to respond quickly and not being like, "Oh, I'll get back to that when I'm okay." You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, it's just so much better when you can just work with a clear head.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's living in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're doing those things, you're trying to get out of the moment.
Oh, for sure.
Gives you like more power.
Mm-hmm.
What does the future look like for Seagull Splash?
The future looks like, oh, it's not just for Seacoast Splash, though.
Oh.
I don't know, it might be on the down low, I'm not quite sure. No, Ray and I have a lot of really good ideas that we are now pursuing in 2019 that we came up with last year, kind of a more game plan for intertwining the photography and video into one package. Yeah, with just working with more clients together and stuff like that. It just kind of be like introducing ourselves on each other's websites too.
Yeah. Nice.
So people just know that they can get a better package with the video and the photo all in the same setting too, and just being working smarter, not harder. Another good quote that I like too.
Yeah.
Travel a piece of that future.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we're thinking March we're gonna be going to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Woo! And then pretty much every winter, we have so far, we've traveled, but we want to just travel a lot more in the winter. It's a little bit slower, and we can move things around and have time for ourselves.
And it's 1 degree.
It's very cold here.
And it's absolutely freezing out. Yeah. Just because places like that are just so beautiful too. It's just like I want to just explore a lot and do all those like excursions. Because I remember when we were in Mexico, I was like looking at the packet they give you, and it's like swim with sea lions, bungee jump, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, writing down all these things, and I come back to Ray, and I was like, we can do all this stuff, and she's just like, slow down, slow down. And I'm just like, okay, all right. So we did a couple of them, but then after that, she was like, okay, next time we got to do like a bunch of them. So that's what I want to do. I just want to do a bunch of just fun stuff that you see online too, and you're just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, why do they get to do it and I don't? It's just like, no, I just would love to experience something crazy.
I feel like I want to talk about something. It might even be a suggestion for you, knowing who you are. So I was asked to do what was it, like a Portsmouth short film thing. I had to write some reviews, and this group of kids that honestly remind me of you. There was like the cool, calm, collected one, and then there were like the rest were like Miles. They reminded me of you. And they did this. It was almost for like a travel company or a vacation company type thing. I went out and it's like Switzerland or something, and they were doing all these like dope like snowmobiling videos and like helicopter drop skiing, like all this like cool stuff. But it was to create a branding video for that like vacation package company. And like when I think of that, like of course, literally, I was like, oh yeah, I was going to like, oh my god, my friend Miles, love you guys, like blah blah blah. Like it was just, I got all excited, and I like literally thought. I mean, I was like, I want to be a videographer.
Yeah.
I'm like not good at it, but
That's cool.
like I thought of you, like so. I wonder, like, have you ever thought of that conceptually, like as like a thing for yourself, meshing like the best of both worlds,
like travel like videography,
or like almost like companies, like like trying to bring customers to like you said, you went to Mexico and there was a list of all those things, right? Like, okay, travel Mexico, like here's all the cool things.
Oh yeah, because I mean there are videographers out there that do like the travel or like the visit NH.
Yeah.
They get to travel all around New Hampshire and film all that stuff. That would totally be up my alley. I think that would be amazing. Because we did make a cool Mexico vlog of our excursion. We just went to North Carolina too to film their New Year's too. So we got hired to go there and shoot their huge party with like Ferris wheels and like those spinny rides and like concerts. So like I was there for like that, just shooting everything. But it's really good. It's really cool when you get to make that into like like a 1 minute, 2 minute video too. And when someone's like, I need to go to that event, or I need to go to that state, or I need to go there to experience what I see in the video. Yeah, I would love to do something like that. That's like, that would be like my dream.
All right, people.
Yeah, we gotta
make his dreams come true. Hook him up.
I thought you were gonna say we were running out of time. I was like, yeah, we are.
Oh well, we are that too, but
also hook up Miles' dreams.
Yeah.
What time do you? It's 10:18.
Yeah, we gotta.
So should we ask them the
Bring
final
it together
question?
now.
So Miles,
Mhm.
what do you believe living with a wild heart is to you?
What do I believe living with a wild heart means to me?
Yes.
It's you're always ready to go. If someone calls you and says, "Hey, let's go here and do something," you're the one that's ready to go. Just experience life just on the fly.
Love that.
That's good.
I don't know.
I feel like that's you.
Well, guys.
Where can the people find you?
Where can they find me? Instagram, Seacoast Flash, Facebook, Seacoast Flash, or just regular, just Facebook too, just Miles Woodworth. YouTube, I got all my blogs and all my branding work on there, just Seacoast Flash. Basically, anything Seacoast Flash, I will be there.
Do you have a website?
Yes, seacoastflash.com. And then, Seacoast on Assignment is Ray and I's joint project that we're working on.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Miles. Everyone keep your
Thanks.
shoes on at all times. Be ready.
Yeah. Yay! Oh, that was great.